please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good evening, you're watching CNBC TV18 and this is After the Bell. Let's take a look at the top stories that we are tracking for you this Monday evening. Markets stumbled for the second straight session. Nifty sheds over 90 points even after a late recovery. Sensex has lost about 750 points in the last two sessions. Mid-cap see sharper cuts as 5 stocks decline for every advancing stock.
As and when the news comes, that is the time basically people need to have an ability to execute their trades.
BSE CEO Ashishkumar Chauhan lays out pros and cons of market hour extension, says an extension will bring retail investors at par with foreign players, but adds that no immediate proposal is under discussion as of now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi set to launch Power for All scheme later today. The scheme called Sahaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana aims at providing last-mile electricity connectivity to all rural and urban households by 2019. India's Kharif output could drop by nearly 3% according to the government's first food grain estimate this fiscal. Output of pulses could drop by as much as 7% as erratic rainfall may have led to a decline in sowing. Enforcement Directorate attaches assets of Karti Chidambaram worth over 1 crore rupees, accuses him of conspiracy to get approvals for SL Max's deal. P. Chidambaram hits back, terms the allegation a crazy mixture of falsehoods and conjectures. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe calls snap election, seeks a fresh term as tensions rise with North Korea. Analysts see it as an attempt to utilize his spike in approval ratings. Angela Merkel wins 4th term as German Chancellor, but her vote share decreases, faces tough negotiations in coming weeks as hard-right AfD makes an entry in the German parliament. Well, we have lots of stories for you over the next 30 minutes, but first let's get straight to the day's trading action. After the Friday fall, it was Monday blues for Indian equities. The Nifty shed over 90 points even after a late recovery. The Sensex was down almost 300 points by the end of the day. That index has lost about 750 sessions if you take the last 750 points if you take the last 2 sessions alone. Top bank and blue chips led the fall, with cement stocks witnessing some fairly sharp cuts. Only 13 out of 50 Nifty stocks ended in the green. Mid-caps also took it on the chin as they saw deeper cuts than the blue chips. That index lost over 1%. Anuj Singhal is here with a wrap of the day's trading action. Anuj, second consecutive session of sharp cuts. Is there more consolidation on the anvil?
Well, weekday for the market. In fact, there was a time when the bears were in complete control of the market intraday at around noon time. From that point, the market did recover. It ended off the low point. The bigger problem has been in the mid-caps. There again, the index itself recovered and the advanced decline, which was at 1.1:12, ended at about 1:4, but still looked quite shaky. The market-leading stocks are taking the market lower. ITC, of course, has been a bit of a weak stock, and that took the market lower, so that always stands out. But Indiabulls Housing and Aurobindo Pharma were the other big losers, and cement's been having a rough day, so a rough few days. So ACC, Ambuja, Ultratech were all lower, but on the gaining side, stocks like Tata Power, Coal India, and ICICI Bank stood out. In the broader market, big declines in names like Infibeam, DHFL, and Reliance Capital. What next? Well, the Nifty has broken the 20 and 50-day moving average, so that part of support is gone. All eyes are now on the last low, 97.10, the last higher low for the market, because that now becomes sacrosanct. So far, we haven't made a lower low or a lower high for this market. So in that case, 97.10 now becomes your sacrosanct support to watch out for.
Okay, Anuj, thanks for that. Now let's get specific. India's food grain output could drop by nearly 3% in this financial year. The monsoon has been largely good so far, but it has also been very erratic. So this could lead to a significant drop in output of cereals, pulses, among others. Manisha Gupta is here with the details. Manisha, not a very good Kharif season, but what's the kind of downfall that we've seen?
Well, yeah, the numbers that are on your screens right now and the indicative ones as well are pointing towards further concerns coming in for the Kharif crop right now. As you pointed out, the monsoon has been 5% below normal. We saw the sowing decline by 0.8% as well. And what what we are looking at in sense of food grains also is that the first advanced estimates show that we perhaps are looking at 3% decline in sense of output already. Remember, the government comes out with 4 advanced estimates at different stages. This is the first one, but if you listen to the experts, they do expect that you are perhaps looking at further decline in the actual crops already. So it is not just the cereals or the pulses, even the oil seeds are looking at a very sharp decline, down by nearly 11%, as you can see when it comes to the oil seed crop as well. Cotton, even as we did see a higher acreage in this one, but it has been the uneven, erratic monsoon that has led to acreage actually going down here. Remember, a lot of cotton crop has been either underwater because of floods or has seen withering away because of the deficiency in monsoon in many other states as well. The only saving grace clearly has been sugar. We have seen a jump up come in for that one, and because we are looking at a very good sugarcane crop this time around, the sugar output also is expected to be higher at around 25 million tons as compared to 20.17 just a year ago. So markets are expecting that you perhaps are looking at a continuous rural distress into the markets here. The agri growth also is not expected to cross 3% on the higher side, and these concerns in that area are just a beginning, is what many experts would tell you.
Okay, Manisha, thanks for that. But here's the other big headline this evening. Prime Minister is set to launch the Saubhagya Sahaj Bijli Har Har Yojana that aims at providing electricity to today's every urban and rural household by 2019. Now, the government is planning to invest around 17,000 crore rupees on this scheme. Anshu Sharma, who tracks the power sector very closely, is here with what more we can expect from the Prime Minister's announcement today. Anshu, take us through the details of this plan and anything else in terms of fine print as to what more is likely to be announced today?
That's right. The Prime Minister is likely to announce the Saubhagya scheme, which is to give electricity connection to the unconnected in both rural and the urban areas. So this is part of the government's agenda to provide 24/7 power for all by 2019. The deadline for this particular project is for electrification of all the households is by March 31st, 2019. There's also a provision to provide free connection to below poverty line household as per the social economic census of 2011, and the nodal agency for electrifying all the households by 2019 March will be Rural Electrification Corporation of India. The central government is likely to invest about 16,400 crore for this Saubhagya scheme, and the funding will be of 75% by the central government and rest by the state or in loan. So we are expecting this major announcement by the Prime Minister in the evening, but we'll have to see how the implementation actually goes, and it's a positive for Rural Electrification Corporation. Back to you.
Okay, Anshu, thanks for that. In fact, Anshu talked about the government's plan to launch a Power for All scheme today. In fact, last Friday, the Power Minister had also told us that the Prime Minister was set to make a big announcement for the power sector. Hear out exactly what the Minister had to say in an exclusive conversation with Shireen Bhan.
There will be a major announcement related to the power sector on the 25th by the Prime Minister. And I mean, we are excited about it. We are very excited about it. This is something which will be very important for the people of the country. I'll not like to sort of, go into what it will be. Let the Prime Minister announce it, and then we'll discuss it. Well, but it is a major scheme, a major project, which will be announced by the Prime Minister on the 21st.
Is this part of the rural electrification plan, sir, or
yes,
it is part of the...
It's a part of the electrification plan of the country.
Okay.
I want to limit it to a rural electrification plan.
Okay, so it takes forward the power for all...
It takes forward that, power for all, 24/7 power for all.
Okay.
Takes that forward.
And when is it likely to be operationalized? Without going into many details, sir, what are the next milestones? 25th September is the first milestone. What will be the next milestone?
Yes, after that, we'll ask the states to prepare their projects and send it to us. We'll clear those projects and we'll release the funds. And then after that, the states will start implementing it. And then they'll start implementing it. And we have timelines. We have timelines for the project.
On to some other stories that we are tracking today. Shares of Shoppers Stop surged in trade today on the back of the news that Amazon is set to acquire 5% stake in the company. The Mumbai-based retailing firm will issue fresh preferential shares to Amazon.com, and that deal will be completed in the next 90 days. Shoppers top MD Govind Srikhande told CNBC TV18 that the Amazon tie-up will help it expand its digital footprint. He also spoke about a possible deal to raise funds for its grocery retail subsidiary, Hypercity.
And what we are going to do really is we are going to bring the entire Shoppers Stop catalog of 400 brands onto Amazon.in, and that will have far-reaching impact on our online business clearly. Because if you look at our online footprint and the number of customers who come on our online versus what Amazon.in brings in, it's like a marketplace and brings in almost 100x of customers. So that would have a dramatic impact on our business. There is no deal as of now with any group, and as I mentioned in Hypercity, we have been working on raising funds, and we are, I would say, at the last stage of discussion with multiple partners to really look at fundraising or some other alternative strategic arrangement, and we would be in a position to really announce something new in about 4 weeks' time. Once we have the Hypercity deal, the debt automatically will fall to a much lower level. And even now, if you look at it within Shoppers Stop, the debt level is pretty comfortable below 0.6. So it's not a big concern at all.
Sticking to a similar space, Flipkart's festive sale, Big Billion Days, concluded on Sunday. The e-commerce major claimed that the 5-day sale exceeded expectations as it accounted for at least 70% of total e-commerce sales in India. In an exclusive conversation with CNBC TV18's Rukmini Rao, Flipkart CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy, in a rare interview, also said that online retail firms' absolute customer count doubled this season.
The absolute customer count, which actually came onto the platform, roughly doubled, and that led to almost all the other metrics also kind of doubling for us. Most of the categories grew, as I said, anywhere in the range of 90 to 110, 120% versus last year. From a market share point of view also, we were actually very happy. We were able to get anywhere in the range of 65 to 80% market share across our categories. The absolute customer count, which actually came onto the platform, roughly doubled, and that led to almost all the other metrics.
Leyland is now targeting all the categories across the LCV segment. Speaking to CNBC TV18, Nitin Sheth, president of LCV business of Ashok Leyland, said that over 3 years, Ashok Leyland will be able to be a full-fledged LCV player.
Today we are only addressing by 2 segments, which is 2.5 and 1 and 7.5. Today with those plus, we have addressed 1. Hopefully there are still big gap between 2.75 to 7.5. And our endeavor is to launch a product in every category as you go forward to become a full player. And the company over the next 3 years should be able to fulfill this whole gap to be a full-fledged LCV player.
Mumbai-based construction firm Capacities Infra Projects has a stellar listing on Dalal Street today. The company listed almost 60% above the issue price at 399 rupees. However, the stock erased gains after the listing but ended in the green by about 37% at 342 rupees. We spoke to the promoter of the company, and he said that the company has a robust portfolio in residential space which has seen a lot of activity over the last 5 years.
The order book currently stands at about 4,602 crores. 88-87% comes from residential, because that's the space where a lot of activity over the last 5 years happened. We see traction over the past 1 year in the commercial space, and that accounts for about 12 to 13% of the order book.
Now, in a setback for Karti Chidambaram, the Enforcement Directorate today attached assets worth over 1 crore rupees in relation to the SL Max's case. The assets are in the form of bank accounts and fixed deposits. Utkarsh Anand of CNN News 18 joins in now with the details. So, Utkarsh, what does this mean for Karti Chidambaram? His father, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, has also come out in Karti's defense very recently, releasing a quite detailed statement.
See, this means all the more trouble for Karti Chidambaram. He is already facing INX media trial in which the CBI has been issuing summons to him. He has been interrogated on the orders of the Supreme Court. He has challenged the lookout circular issued against him by the CBI before the Supreme Court. It's been a couple of months, but he's failed to get any reprieve from the Supreme Court also, despite having appeared before the CBI for his interrogation. CBI has already interrogated him for almost 12 hours over a period of 2 days. But then there seems to be no relief for Karti Chidambaram in way. In the meantime, while another notice was sent to him by the CBI for summoning him for the ASL Maxis case. Now, notably in this case, all the accused, including former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran, his brother Kalanidhi Maran, all have been discharged by the special trial judge of the Patiala House Court in Delhi, saying that there was not enough evidence to frame charges against them. Despite that exoneration, the CBI chose to issue him a notice earlier this month. Karti Chidambaram was asked to join the investigation. Karti replied to that notice saying that I challenge the jurisdiction of the CBI to summon me as a witness or as an accused in this case, despite the case having been crumbled down before the trial court. Now, while that challenge by the Karti to the CBI's notice was pending, CBI has today decided to go on ahead and has given a recommendation to the ED, pursuant to which ED has Enforcement Directorate has attached assets. So not just in one case, it seems that there are now two cases, two swords hanging over his head, and there seems to be a long legal battle ahead also for Karti.
Absolutely, Utkarsh. Thank you so much for joining in with that. Earlier this month, the Maharashtra Food Regulator ordered testing of popular bottled water brands to check for levels of bromate, a carcinogen. Now, CNBC TV18 learns that the Gujarat Food and Drugs Administration, or the Gujarat FDA, has found close to 40% of packaged water samples collected over the last few months to be substandard. Priya Sheth, who has been following the story very closely, and she was the first to break this as well, is here with the details. Priya, what exactly has FDA found, that's the Gujarat FDA, and what's the definition of substandard according to them?
Well, absolutely. In fact, high levels of bromate in bottled water is a huge cause of concern for authorities at this point in time. In fact, the permissible limit for bromate in water is 10 micrograms per litre. And in fact, what we do understand from our sources is that the Gujarat FDA, which has been voluntarily carrying out tests on bottled water, has found about 40% of their samples to be substandard. In fact, do remember, about 400 to 500 samples have been tested over the last couple of months, and this has been a huge cause of concern. So therefore, no specific brand has been pulled up at this point in time, but we do understand that the Gujarat FDA is meeting with several representatives of popular packaged water bottle brands to discuss treatment issues like, water treatment, facility upgradation, as well as counterfeits. Decision could be taken over the next month or so on what possibly could be the next course of action, but we do understand that other states are also likely to follow suit as far as testing for higher levels of bromate are concerned.
Okay, fair enough. We'll keep coming back to you once that crucial meeting does happen. It'll be important to understand which these companies are that are being pulled up. A quick look at some global headlines. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe calls for snap elections.